starting today on our backs, but it would be really helpful for today if you had 2 blocks. If you've got just a couple of water bottles or cans or something to put under your hands, that could work also. I'll give you some options for if you don't have any blocks. If you want something for under your knees for kneeling poses, like a blanket or a pillow, please grab something like that as well. We will start with a block, or if you don't have a block, maybe a rolled up towel or pillow or something like that, because we're going to start in a supported bridge. So you'll lift your hips up and you'll place the block under your sacrum. So you have the small of your back, which is the curve, and then kind of the, what I call the upper butt region, which usually is continuous with the sacrum. And that's kind of where you want the block, because if it's in your low back, that's not going to feel great. So more kind of in that sacrum area. Your feet can stay bent, knees can stay bent. You could drop your knees in right here, that would be great. And take your arms either out like Shavasana by your side, or take one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. See if you can relax your abdomen, even if that gives you a little bit of a sensation of pull in your low back. Breathe in fully, sigh out. And then breathe softly in and out through your nose. Feel the ground underneath you. See if you can sink a little more heavily toward the ground. Allow yourself to really, truly feel your presence on your mat, both physically and mentally. And if you want to center and breathe for a little longer, pause the video, stay. Otherwise, with your next exhale, release your hands. Slowly lift your hips. Remove your block and roll down one vertebra at a time. Just like really slowly. Let your sacrum get flat to the ground. And then hug both knees in toward your chest. Take a breath in and out. Place your feet wide, like mat distance apart. And then bring both knees in a windshield wiper shape to the right. So here your left arm can stretch back overhead. Your left hip, your left butt cheek should lift away from the ground and stretch your left knee forward as long as it feels okay in your knee. Take a full breath in and out. And switch sides. Take both knees to the left. Let your right butt cheek lift up and stretch your right knee forward. Stretch your right arm up and overhead. Take a breath in and out. Come back through center. First side again, knees to the right, left arm overhead. Breathe in and out. Come back through center. Right arm overhead, knees to the left. Full breath in and out. Your knees back through center. Hug your right knee into your chest and stretch your left leg forward. Point your left toes up toward the ceiling and root your left thigh bone down. Keep that as you draw your right knee in closer so that your knees are really working. Let your shoulders relax. And switch sides. Bend your left knee, hug it in. Stretch your right leg out. Right toes toward the ceiling. Root your right thigh bone toward the ground. Work through those muscles and hug your left knee in. Deep breath. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Keep your legs active. Release, switch sides. Place your left foot down. Bring your hands behind your right thigh and reach your right leg toward the ceiling. So you're actually pushing actively your right thigh bone into your hands. You could also stretch your left leg to the ground again and make ankle circles. And ankle circle the other way. Place your right foot on the ground. Hug your left knee in, hold behind your left thigh. Reach your left foot up toward the ceiling. Stretch your right leg forward. Press through both thigh bones and circle your left ankle. Spread your toes and make it really exaggerated. Switch directions, breathe. Relax your shoulders. At the end of your exhale, hug your left leg in, hug your right leg in. Bring them in toward your chest as much as you can, and then lift your head, coming into a ball, and start to rock. And if you can rock bigger and bigger, do that. If you can rock all the way up to sitting, do that. If you need to take your hands behind you and push yourself up, that's okay too. Stretch your legs forward. From here, hug your legs in. Cross your right shin in front of your left. Looks like this. But you're going to hug in closely. You can use your hands and then lift your chest. So then see what it would be like to use your muscles to squeeze your knees in, your heels toward your butt. Maybe you can get lighter with your hands. Maybe you can release your hands and keep everything else the same. Breathe. 3 breaths here. Stretch your legs forward. Shake them out. Left shin in front of right. So just the opposite side. Hug in. Sit tall. If you can maintain this and you're working a little more subtly, you will want to get somewhere between your tailbone and your sit bone. So not on your tailbone, not on your sit bones, but somewhere in between, kind of in the fleshy part of your rear. Hold in, knees to chest, heels to butt. Lighten your hands or let them go. 3 breaths. Release. Shake it out. First side again. Right shin in front of left. Hug in. Heels to butt, knees to chest. Stay here. Lighten your hands or let go. Breathe. Release. Shake it out. One more time. Left shin in front of right. Hug in. Lighten or release. Breathe. Heels to butt, knees to chest. Release, stretch out, shake it out. Grab a block. If you don't have a block, you're just going to do the same move multiple times. Otherwise, you're going to start with a block near you, your feet together, your knees apart. Take your hands behind you. This should feel kind of nice after those last things. Squeeze your feet together, especially the base of your big toe, the ball out of your big toe. Squeeze that. Keep that and try to squeeze your knees out toward the ground. Can you squeeze both at the same time? Can you hold space for both things? Release, stretch your legs out. If you've got a block, take it on second level so it's narrow and squeeze that. Again, inner ball mound of your feet, really squeeze there. Keep that. Take your outer knees toward the ground. Breathe. I got this from one of my teachers, Christina Zell. I don't know if she made it up or got it from somebody else, but I think it's wonderful. And she's also wonderful. Release. Turn your block down, or do the same thing again. Or find something else to squeeze, you could do that too. Make sure that the inner ball mound squeezes and keep squeezing as you open your knees out. Breathe. Remember what it feels like to maintain the ball mound squeeze as you open your knees, and notice the muscles in your butt that are doing this work. Release. One more. See if you can turn it sideways. This means you're not perhaps going to be able to get your whole foot on there, but a little piece. Squeeze in, open your knees. Can you maintain that? How much of the squeeze inward can you maintain as you open your knees? How can you do both? Release. Let your block go. One more. This is the magic one where you get to see what has shifted. Squeeze your feet in, take your knees open. Breathe, notice. Notice how it feels. Did you make a change with just a couple minutes? Release. Stretch your legs forward. Come to hands and knees. From hands and knees, we're going to start with this puppy shape. So your hips are going to be over your knees and curl your toes under. As you walk your hands forward, make suction cup, gecko hands, really grip the ground. And notice as you lower, can you walk your hands forward a little more, but keep your hips over your knees. Grip the ground and lift your armpits and let your head come down. So you're not trying to necessarily touch the ground. You're trying to make as much space between your armpits and your hips as you can. Can you maintain that? Keep that downward facing dog. Lift your hips. So here, you might take your feet wide for this first one. Bend your knees. Create space between your armpits and your hips. That's the thing to keep. Once you keep that, relax your neck. Maybe your heels can reach for the ground, but I don't care if they get there. Make sure your spine stays long. If your spine can stay long and your knees can push straighter, that's great, but it doesn't matter if your knees go straighter. It matters that your spine is straight. Breathe. Walk your feet to your hands, forward bent. Look forward, drop your hips, come to standing. Bring your hands to heart center. Great. So here, you want your blocks to be out on either side of your mat. And we'll start with tree pose for Shasana. We're going to use some of the things that we've done before. You don't need to turn. I'm going to turn and face you. So here you'll take your left foot down, root through the inner ball mound of your left foot, and push as if you were rooting your thigh bone back to the ground. Bring your right knee into your chest. And now remember what it was like when you did the crossed shins. Can you pull your knee to chest and your heel to butt and engage the muscles that helped you do that? Keep that open to tree pose. Your foot can go above your knee or below your knee, but make a conscious choice. And now root the inner ball mound of that foot. Squeeze into your leg as you open your knee. If you need a wall, please go to one. You could do one hand to the wall, one hand to your chest, right? You can also stretch your arms up. They could be wide. And they can come down. Release. Now we're going to open out. So from here, we'll take wide stance. And really go wide. Don't be afraid to go wide with your legs. A typical alignment is wrist over foot. If you've been in my beginner series, we've also did hand to wall alignment and worked on that. So you could do that to know your alignment. I'll give you a couple other ways in a little bit. From here, you're going to take your right toes out and your right heel in. So turn your heel part of the way in first because you want your front heel, your right heel, to line up with the mid-arch of your back foot. Then turn your toes out so that your feet face at angles of one another. Notice, if your left thigh turned forward, try and rotate it back so that it's in that starting position where your hip, your knee, and your ankle line up. Then reach your left arm back. So you want to keep this vertical position and the anchoring of your back leg. Bend your right knee slightly. So here, root the ball mound of your right foot, and then squeeze those muscles to open your knee. If your knee lines up with your foot, you can bend some more, and then check again. If your knee starts to pass your ankle, move your back foot back some. And when you found the depth of Warrior 2, for you, you can stretch your right arm forward and gaze over your middle finger. Take a breath. Doesn't matter how much you bend your knee, but do the actions. Take your right forearm to thigh, but don't change anything in your legs. Reach your left arm straight up or put it on your hip. Maybe you can drop your right thigh bone down a little more and keep your knee pulling open. Big toe mound rounding. You could also take your left bicep by your ear. Good. Come up. Step back to the top of your mat. That might be one or many steps. And then root through your right foot, inner ball mound, push your thigh back, and then hug your left knee in. You can hold under your left thigh as well. Heel to butt, knee to chest. Find the muscles that you used in that little seated core exercise before. Same muscles, like you should be able to let this go eventually and hold your leg there. And then open it out to the side. Foot to your inner thigh above your knee or shin below your knee. Root through the inner ball mound and root your foot in like you were squeezing the block and open your knee out. Use a wall if necessary. Maybe take your arms up. Option to open them out as well. Just whatever feels right. Focus on your legs and your breath. Release. Again, take a wide stance. From here, your toes point straight ahead, your outer feet point straight ahead. And then turn your left heel halfway in, your toes out. Make sure your heel aligns with the mid-arch of your back foot. And then, if your right hip's fallen forward, roll it back out so that it's that wide angle shape. And I know this makes it super difficult with your front leg to bend it. That's okay. Stretch your right arm out. And now bend your left knee slightly. Push through the inner ball mound as if it were pushing into the block, and then use those butt muscles to squeeze your knee open. Only if it aligns with your foot, bend more. If it doesn't, stay there and keep working it open. Eventually you're going to get the space to do this. Your torso stays upright. Once you've found your space, open. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze over your middle finger. Take your left forearm to thigh. Keep everything else the same. Your right arm can go straight up, or you could go bicep by your ear, and maybe you sit into your left thigh more. That's optional. Come up. Turn your toes. Step toward the top of your mat. Okay. Now we're going to take it a little bit backwards. Now you're going to grab your blocks. Put your blocks by your ankles. This is how you get good distance. Step your left foot back. So if you land and you start to bend your right knee to a square, your knee comes past your ankle, you gotta move your back leg back so that you can get into a square, and that's how you know your distance. Turn your left heel down, and now make that same alignment. Front heel to mid-arch of your back foot. From here, begin to straighten your right knee and put your left hand on your hip. Right? I'm gonna spin this around so that you can see. Good, so now, root through the inner ball mound of your right foot. It's gonna wanna come up. You straighten your right knee as much as you can. You can always put your right hand on your shin if you don't have a block. This is fine. Then, ball mound is grounded. See if you can access those same butt muscles to help power a turn of your torso open. Then, your left hand can be on your hip or stretch it up. This is triangle pose, Trikonasana. You can look straight forward. You can look up. You can look down. Breathe. Use your legs. Now put your left hand on your hip. Keep this alignment. Bend your right knee. Side angle pose. This is where we had our forearm to our thigh before, so you could do that again. Maybe stretch your left arm up. Maybe come to warrior two. Move your torso, not your legs. Right. Spin down, step to your feet together in between your blocks. And step your right leg back. Spin. Right leg back. Find your lunge where you can square your front leg and push your back leg really straight. And then spin your back heel down. Keep your left hand block right by your ankle, or I actually put it behind my ankle a little bit for triangle. And begin to straighten your left knee. It's okay if it's a little bit bent, but you're pushing towards straight and you're pushing from the ball mound of your inner left foot. Keep that grounded, and then use the butt muscle like you're trying to tuck your left, just your left butt cheek under you. Your right one's staying where it is. And you're gonna power this chain, this open of your belly, of your chest. And then you might lift your right arm up. That's optional. Breathe, decide where you want your gaze. Place your right hand back on your hip. Bend your left knee. You want to keep that left knee really coming out over your foot. Big toe mound grounded, knee opens. You can stay here, you can do forearm to thigh. Your right arm can stretch up. Side angle, this is Parsvakonasana. Keep your legs the same. Lift your torso. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. And spin down. Step forward. Fold, bend your knees enough to let your belly come down, relax your spine. Relax your head. Then squat. You can separate your feet. I'm not picky with the squat today. I just want you to find, you can be heels down, you can be heels up. You can sit on a block. You can sit on the ground with your knees bent up. Take 2 breaths here. Close your eyes, perhaps. Relax your shoulders. And blink your eyes open. Come out of your squat. Come to all fours, and we'll go to downward facing dog once again. Curl your toes under, make that nice long all fours position, and then get into a long puppy. So you want to have hips over knees, get this length. That's going to give you a pretty good down dog length. It might even be too long. Make gecko hands, make suction cup hands. Remember that you're rooting the base of your pointer finger, you're rooting the ridge knuckles, and then keeping the ridge knuckles rooted and gently gripping the floor with your finger pads. Once you get this long armpit all the way up through your hip shape. Keep that. Down dog. Knees might stay bent so that you can keep that shape in your torso. If you straighten your knees and you round, you've lost it. So start here, and then you just see, like, how much can my knees straighten? You could do one at a time. It's fine. And play. And make your arms strong by holding this pose. And at the end of your next exhale, lower your knees. Put your big toes to touch. Separate your knees and sit back to child's pose. You could take your hands by your feet if that feels better. Relax your forehead to the ground. Take a full breath in and out. Then slowly come up. Send your legs out in front of you and come onto your back. Cross your right thigh directly on top of your left, like eagle legs. Stretch your arms side to side. Scoot your hips to the right. I'll show you this from this angle. Scoot your hips to the right. Lower your legs to the left. So your shoulder may come up on that right side. That's okay. You might use your left elbow to lift your chest and turn it to the right. We'll do that so you can see. Left elbow down, lift your chest, turn it to the right. If it feels good to turn your head to one side or the other, or both, do that. Take one more breath in and out. And then switch sides. Come back through center. Unravel your legs and center your hips. And then cross left thigh on top of right. Stretch your arms side to side. Scoot your hips to the left and lower your legs to the right. And then you might use your right elbow, once you're there, to help turn your chest to the left and give you more twisting in your spine. This might feel tight. That's okay. Breathe in to stretch your spine from the inside, and then as you exhale, see if you can relax all the little muscles around your back. And do it one more time. At the end of your exhale, come back through center. Unravel your legs and center your hips. Hug your knees into your chest one last time, and you might do a little side-to-side rock or a little circular rock. And if you circle, go the other way. Place your feet to the floor and find Shavasana. Taking your hands away from your sides. You could keep your knees bent. You can stretch your legs out. Inhale fully, and then sigh out. Gently close your mouth. Let your breath be natural. Lean into the support of the ground underneath you. Letting go of all effort. Physical effort and mental effort. Instead, ponder your breath and how relaxed you can get. I'll stop the video here, but please lie here as long as you like, as long as you have.